Imagine this. You wake up one ordinary morning. The sun is shining through the kitchen window, coffee is brewing, your phone buzzes on the counter. You pick it up without thinking, and in that 1 second, your whole world stops. There, on the screen, are messages, not from a stranger, not from some random person, from your husband to your best friend. Words that cut like a knife. Can't wait for our getaway next weekend, just you and me, no kids, no wives, finally alone. Heart emoji, kiss emoji, a photo of a beach hotel room. I am Sarah. I turned 40 last month, and that text, that one text, was the moment my life broke in half. The title of this story is, I gave everything to my family for years. At 40, my husband's affair with my best friend shattered it all. For 18 years, I gave everything to my family. Everything. I was the wife who cheered the loudest at his work events, the mom who stayed home so our 2 kids could have the best life possible. I cooked dinners every night, packed school lunches, helped with homework until late, kept the house clean and peaceful. I supported Mark's career every single step of the way. When he got promoted, I was the one throwing the celebration dinner. When he came home stressed and tired, I was the one rubbing his shoulders at 2 a.m. while he talked about his day. My best friend Lisa was right there in every part of our life. We grew up together. She felt like a real sister to me. She came over almost every weekend. We laughed together, cried together, shared every secret. I trusted her with my children. I trusted her with my heart. When she needed money for the down payment on her new house after her divorce, I gave her $8,000 without even asking when I would get it back. When she felt broken and alone, I let her stay in our guest room for almost 2 months. I cooked for her, listened to her, held her when she cried. I really believed we were this perfect circle, a loving family, loyal friends, safety, trust, happiness. But that morning, when I read those messages, my hands started shaking so badly the phone almost dropped. My stomach turned into a tight knot. Tears came to my eyes even before my brain fully understood what I was seeing. Was this really happening? Was my husband, the man I built my entire adult life around, secretly planning a romantic trip with my best friend? Were they already together? How long had this been going on? How many lies had I been living with? I felt sick to my stomach, betrayed in the deepest way, and stupid, so stupid for not seeing it sooner. All those nights I waited up because he said he was working late, all those times Lisa smiled and said, "Mark is such a good husband, you're so lucky." All the hugs between them that I thought were just friendly, all the inside jokes I laughed at without question. I slid down to the kitchen floor. I sat with my back against the cabinet, hugging my knees to my chest. The kids were still sleeping upstairs. Mark was in the shower, singing happily like any other normal morning. My mind was spinning. One part of me wanted to run upstairs, bang on the bathroom door, and scream. Another part wanted to delete the messages, pretend I never saw them, and keep living the same life. But deep inside, a quiet voice already knew the truth. This was the beginning of the end of everything I thought was real. I wiped my face. I took deep breaths. Then, very quietly, I took screenshots of every message. I saved them in a hidden folder. On the outside, I looked calm, but inside, a storm was growing bigger every second. Because the woman who gave everything away for years was about to discover exactly how much more she still had left to lose. If this story already hurts your heart, if you've ever felt that sharp pain of being betrayed by the people closest to you, please hit the subscribe button right now and turn on notifications. This story is going to get much darker before it gets stronger. That morning changed everything, but I didn't scream. I didn't cry in front of Mark. I smiled when he came downstairs in his work shirt, kissed him on the cheek like always, and said, "Have a good day, honey." My voice sounded normal. My hands were steady when I handed him his coffee, but inside, my heart was screaming so loud I could barely hear anything else. The rest of the day felt like walking through fog. I dropped the kids at school, cleaned the kitchen, folded laundry, normal mom things, but every few minutes I opened my phone and stared at those screenshots again. Each time it hurt more. The words didn't change. The beach photo didn't disappear. It was real. By afternoon, I couldn't pretend anymore. I needed to know how far this went. So I did what I never thought I would do in my whole life. I started looking through his phone. Mark always left it charging on the nightstand when he showered. I waited until he was in the bathroom, water running loud. My fingers shook as I picked it up. The passcode was still our wedding date. That hurt even more. I opened his messages with Lisa. There they were, hundreds of texts going back almost 8 months. Sweet good mornings, late night, thinking of you, plans for coffee that never happened when I was around. Photos, not just innocent ones. Pictures of her in a new dress with the caption, "For our special weekend," and his reply, "You look incredible, can't wait to take it off." I felt like someone punched me in the chest. Air wouldn't come in right. My knees went weak. I sat on the edge of the bed and kept scrolling because stopping felt worse. There were voice notes too. I put one earbud in and played the latest one from her, whispered so no one else could hear. "I know it's hard, baby, but we're so close. Just a little longer and we can stop hiding. I love you more than she ever could." More than she ever could. Those words burned into my brain. I played it again and again. Each time it cut deeper. I saved everything. Screenshots, recordings, dates, times. I created a new folder called Proof and locked it with a different passcode, something Mark would never guess. When he got home that evening, he hugged me from behind while I cooked dinner. "Smells amazing, babe," he said, kissing my neck. I froze. For the first time in 18 years, his touch made my skin crawl. I forced a smile, turned around, and said, "Thanks, long day?" "Yeah," he sighed. "Meetings ran late again." I nodded. I knew the truth now. Those late meetings were probably coffee with her, or worse. That night, I lay next to him in bed, staring at the ceiling in the dark. He was asleep, breathing slow and peaceful. I listened to every breath and wondered how someone could sleep so calmly after betraying the person who gave them everything. Tears slipped down my cheeks silently. I didn't wipe them. I let them fall onto the pillow. I cried for the girl I used to be, the one who believed in forever, who trusted without question, who sacrificed her own dreams so her family could shine. But mostly, I cried for the future I thought we had, the empty nest we would enjoy together, the trips we planned, the grandkids we would spoil. All of it felt like smoke now, gone before I even got to hold it. The next morning, I made a decision. I wasn't going to confront them yet, not until I had every single piece of proof, not until I knew exactly how long they had been lying to my face. So I kept going. I smiled, I cooked, I laughed at the kids' jokes, I answered Lisa's texts like nothing was wrong when she asked, "How's my favorite family doing?" I even invited her over for dinner that weekend, because the storm inside me was building, and when it finally broke, they would never see it coming. But something else happened that week, something I didn't expect. My phone buzzed with a message from a number I didn't know. The text was short. "Sarah, this is Tom, Lisa's husband. I know what's going on. We need to talk. They're destroying both our families. Call me when you're alone." My heart stopped. Tom knew too, and just like that, I wasn't alone in the pain anymore. If this part made your stomach twist, if you can feel how heavy that betrayal really is, please stay with me. Hit subscribe if you haven't already and turn on the bell.
The moment I read Tom's message, everything shifted. I wasn't just the hurt wife anymore. I was part of something bigger. 2 people betrayed by the same 2 liars. My hands were still cold from shock, but a tiny spark of strength started burning inside me. For the first time in days, I didn't feel completely alone. I waited until the kids were in bed and Mark was downstairs watching TV. Then I slipped into the laundry room, the quietest spot in the house, and called the number. Tom picked up on the second ring. His voice was low, tired, like he hadn't slept in weeks. "Sarah?" "Yes, it's me." A long pause. Then he let out a shaky breath. "I'm so sorry you had to find out this way. I've known for about 3 months. I found the same kind of messages on her phone. At first, I thought I was imagining things. Then I saw the hotel booking confirmation in her email. Same weekend they're planning now." My throat tightened. "How long do you think it's been going on?" "From what I can tell, at least 7 or 8 months, maybe longer. They've been careful, but not careful enough." We both stayed quiet for a second. The silence felt heavy, full of shared pain. Tom spoke again. I thought about confronting her right away, yelling, throwing things, but then I realized if I do that, they'll just deny it, cry, make promises, and keep sneaking around. Or worse, they'll run off together and leave us both looking like fools. I swallowed hard. "So what do you want to do?" "I want them to feel what we're feeling. I want them to sit across from us, look us in the eyes, and have no place to hide. I want the truth to come out in front of everyone who thinks they're so perfect." My heart started pounding faster, not from fear this time, but from something else. Power. The idea of taking back control. We talked for almost 40 minutes. We shared everything we had: screenshots, dates, voice notes, even the little lies they told us to cover their tracks. Tom had more. He'd followed Lisa once and taken photos of her car parked at a coffee shop with Mark's truck right next to it. He sent them to me while we were on the call. Seeing those pictures made my stomach flip all over again. But this time, it also made me angry. Real, burning anger. Not the crying kind. The kind that makes you stand up straighter. By the end of the call, we had a plan. A simple, sharp, devastating plan. We would invite them both to our house for what looks like a normal, friendly dinner. Just the 4 of us, me, Mark, Lisa, and Tom. We'd say it was to celebrate something small, like the end of summer or a random "thank you for being great friends" night. They wouldn't suspect anything. We'd cook their favorite foods, we'd laugh, we'd pour wine, we'd make them feel safe and loved, right up until the moment we weren't. Then, when dessert came out, I would stand up, look them both in the eyes, and play the voice note Lisa sent Mark, the one where she says, "I love you" more than she ever could. After that, Tom would show the photos. I would lay out every screenshot, every hotel booking, every lie. No yelling, no screaming, just calm, cold truth. We wanted them to see each other's faces when the masks finally fell. We wanted them to watch their perfect little secret world collapse in front of the people they hurt the most. Tom's voice cracked when he said, "I don't want revenge for the sake of hurting them. I want justice for us, for the years we gave." I whispered back, "Me too." We set the date, 2 weeks from that night. Enough time to act normal, gather the last bits of proof, and prepare ourselves emotionally. After we hung up, I sat in the dark laundry room for a long time. My chest felt tight, but not broken anymore. It felt full, like something new was growing in the space where trust used to live. I wasn't the same Sarah who slid to the kitchen floor crying. That Sarah was gone. The new one was quiet, careful, and ready. The dinner was coming, and when that night arrived, nothing would ever be the same again. The 2 weeks leading up to the dinner felt like the longest and shortest time of my life. Every day, I woke up with a knot in my stomach, but I kept moving. I smiled at Mark when he left for work. I hugged the kids when they came home from school. I answered Lisa's text with hearts and laughing emojis. "Can't wait for dinner Friday. Bringing my famous cheesecake?" she asked. I typed back, "Of course. Wouldn't be the same without it." Heart. Inside, I was counting down, planning every detail. Tom and I texted in code, short messages that looked innocent if anyone saw them. "Kids' soccer practice Friday" meant, "You still good for the plan?" "Yes, running late today" meant, "Yes, I'm ready." Friday finally arrived. The house smelled like garlic bread and roasted chicken, Mark's favorite. I set the table with the good plates, lit candles, put soft music on low. Everything looked warm, welcoming, perfect. Mark came home early, loosened his tie, and kissed my cheek. "You went all out tonight, babe. What's the occasion?" I smiled sweetly. Just wanted to thank our best friends for always being there. You know, family means everything. He laughed. "You're too good to us." Lisa arrived first, arms full of wine and that cheesecake. She hugged me tight, her perfume the same one she'd worn since high school. "Sarah, you look amazing. Seriously, 40 looks so good on you." I hugged her back. "Thanks, Liz. You too. Come in, Tom's on his way." Tom walked in 10 minutes later. He looked calm on the outside. Button-down shirt, easy smile, but his eyes met mine for one quick second, and I saw the storm behind them. We all sat down, laughed about old stories, passed the bread, poured more wine. Mark raised his glass to good friends and great nights. We all clinked. I smiled so wide my cheeks hurt. Dinner went smoothly, too smoothly. They talked about work, the kids, vacation plans. Lisa touched Mark's arm when she laughed at one of his jokes. Just a light touch, the kind I used to think was nothing. Now it made my blood boil, but I kept my face soft. Then came dessert. I brought out the cheesecake Lisa made. Everyone took a slice. I stayed standing. "Before we eat," I said quietly, "I want to say something." They all looked up, smiles still on their faces. I pulled my phone from my pocket. 18 years ago, I promised to love, honor, and trust the man I married. And for 18 years, I kept that promise. I gave up my career. I stayed home. I supported every dream he had. I thought we were building something unbreakable. Mark's smile started to fade. "Sarah, what's this about?" I looked straight at Lisa. "And you? I treated you like a sister. I gave you money when you were broke. I opened my home when you were hurting. I trusted you with my children, with my husband." Her fork froze halfway to her mouth. I tapped play on my phone. Lisa's voice filled the room, clear, soft, intimate. "I know it's hard, baby, but we're so close. Just a little longer and we can stop hiding. I love you more than she ever could." The room went dead silent. Mark's face drained of color. Lisa's eyes went wide. I didn't stop. I turned the phone toward them and swiped to the photos Tom had taken. Lisa's car next to Mark's truck, the hotel confirmation email screenshot, the text, the beach room photo. One by one, I laid them on the table like cards in a terrible game. Tom spoke next, voice steady but low. "We both know now. No more lies, no more sneaking. It ends tonight." Lisa started crying first. "Sarah, please, it's not what it looks like. We were just—" "Don't," I cut her off, calm, cold. "Don't insult me more." Mark reached for my hand. "Babe, I messed up. I'm sorry. We can fix this. For the kids." I pulled my hand away. The kids deserve parents who don't lie to each other's faces, and I deserve a life without your secrets. Tom stood up. "Lisa, we're done. Papers are already being drawn. I'm taking the kids to my sister's tonight." Lisa sobbed harder. Mark looked like he might be sick. I looked at both of them one last time. "You took years from us. You took trust, you took peace, but you don't get to take anything else." I walked to the door and opened it. "Get out of my house." They left quietly. No yelling, no big fight. Just broken people walking into the night. The door closed. The house was silent except for the soft music still playing. I sank into a chair. Tears came then, not from pain, but from release. Everything I'd held inside for weeks poured out. But even through the tears, I felt something new, something strong. I wasn't shattered anymore. I was free. The morning after the dinner, the house felt different. Not empty, not broken, just quiet. Peaceful in a way it hadn't been in years. Mark left that same night. He packed a small bag while I sat on the couch with my arms crossed. He tried to talk, tried to explain, apologize, promise he'd change. I didn't yell. I didn't cry in front of him. I just looked at him and said, "You already made your choice. Now live with it." He walked out the door. No big scene, no slammed doors, just the soft click of the latch closing behind him. Lisa called the next day, then the next, then every day for a week. Voicemails full of tears and excuses. "I never meant to hurt you. We can fix this. You're still my best friend." I listened to one or two, then stopped. I blocked her number. I blocked her on everything. Some friendships don't survive betrayal. This one died the moment she chose my husband over our history. The kids were the hardest part. We sat them down together, Mark and I, before he left. We told them the truth in simple words. Mom and Dad are separating. It's not your fault. We both love you more than anything. They cried. They asked questions. Why? Did we do something wrong? My heart shattered all over again hearing their little voices. But I held them tight and promised them one thing. Your home will always be safe. Your mom will always be here, and we're going to be okay. We were okay. Slowly, painfully, but okay. The divorce papers came fast. No long court battles. Mark didn't fight me on much. Maybe guilt, maybe he just wanted it over. I got the house, primary custody, child support. He got weekends and every other holiday. It wasn't perfect, but it was fair. I didn't stay stuck in the pain. I couldn't. The kids needed me strong, and honestly, I needed me strong too. 3 months after everything fell apart, I did something I hadn't done in almost 20 years. I updated my resume. I dusted off my old marketing degree, took a few online courses to catch up on what I'd missed, and started applying. My first interview was terrifying. My hands shook, my voice cracked, but I got the job. Entry level at a small digital agency, flexible hours, work from home most days, enough money to breathe easier. The first paycheck felt like freedom in my bank account. I started going out again. Not dating, not yet, but coffee with new people, a book club, a walking group in the park, women who didn't know my old life, women who laughed at my jokes and asked about my dreams instead of my husband. One of them, Maria, became my closest friend. She was divorced too. She understood the quiet nights and the sudden waves of anger. We'd sit on my porch with tea, talking until the stars came out. She never judged. She just listened. And slowly, I started trusting again. Not everyone, but the right ones. A year later, I stood in front of a mirror on my 41st birthday, the same mirror where I used to fix my hair before Mark came home. Now I looked at the woman staring back, stronger shoulders, clearer eyes, a small smile that felt real. I wasn't the girl who gave everything away anymore. I was the woman who kept what mattered most: myself, my kids, my peace, my future. Betrayal hurts like nothing else. It rips you open. But here's what I learned the hard way. When everything shatters, you get to decide what pieces you pick up. You get to build something new, something stronger, something that can't be broken by lies again. I lost a husband, I lost a best friend, but I found me, and I like her a lot. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that pain doesn't get the final word, thank you for staying with me through all 5 parts. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on notifications, because there are so many more real stories out there of heartbreak, strength, and coming back even better. You're not alone, and you're stronger than you know. Thank you for listening to my story.
It's been over a year since that dinner table became the battlefield where my old life ended. I still remember the exact sound of the front door closing behind them. Soft, final, like the last page of a book I never wanted to finish reading. But life didn't stop at the ending. It kept writing new chapters, and these ones feel like they were always meant for me. I'm 42 now. The kids are doing great, really great. My daughter started middle school this fall and joined the debate team. She stands up in front of people and speaks her mind without hesitation. When I watch her, I see the girl I used to be before I learned to shrink myself to make room for everyone else. My son is obsessed with soccer and coding. He builds little apps on his tablet and shows them to me like they're treasures. I tell him every single day, never stop creating things that make you proud. Work has become more than just a paycheck. I got promoted 6 months ago, marketing coordinator now, with real creative control over campaigns. My team is small, but kind. We laugh during Zoom calls, we celebrate wins with coffee runs. For the first time in forever, people ask my opinion and actually listen. When I walk into meetings, I don't feel like I'm pretending anymore. I belong there. Money isn't tight like it used to be. I paid off the last of the credit cards I used to help Lisa years ago. That felt like cutting the final string. I opened a savings account just for me, called it Sarah's Future. Every month I put a little in.
It's not huge yet, but it's mine. No one can touch it, no one can take it. I started dating again, slowly, carefully. His name is Daniel. He's a high school history teacher with terrible dad jokes and the kindest eyes I've ever seen. We met at the book club Maria dragged me to. Our first date was just coffee that turned into dinner because neither of us wanted to leave. He knows my whole story, every painful detail. He didn't run. He listened, he stayed. When he holds my hand, it doesn't feel like ownership. It feels like partnership. The house is different too. I painted the living room a soft sage green, something bright and alive. I took down the old wedding photos and replaced them with pictures of me and the kids laughing at the beach, me accepting my promotion, me and Maria on our girls' trip to the mountains last summer. The walls now tell the truth of who we are today, not who we used to pretend to be. Mark and I co-parent respectfully. We don't talk much outside of the kids, but there's no war. He's trying to be better, for them at least. I don't wish him harm. I just don't wish him back. Lisa, I don't know much anymore. Last I heard, she moved to another city. I don't check. I don't need to. Some chapters close for good, and that's okay. If I could go back and talk to the Sarah who sat crying on the kitchen floor that first morning, I would tell her this. The pain is real. The betrayal cuts deep, but it does not define the rest of your story. You will cry. You will doubt yourself. You will wonder if you'll ever trust again. And then, one day, you'll wake up and realize the storm has passed. You'll look around and see a life you built with your own hands. A quieter life, a stronger life, a life where you are allowed to take up space. You didn't just survive what they did to you. You outgrew it. So if you're watching this right now and your heart is still aching from your own version of this story, please hear me. The version of you on the other side of this pain is waiting. She's braver than you can imagine. She's kinder to herself. She laughs louder, she dreams bigger, and she knows deep in her bones that betrayal doesn't break you forever. It rebuilds you unbreakable. Thank you for walking through every part of this journey with me, from the shock to the tears, to the plan, to the confrontation, to the slow, beautiful healing. If any piece of this story made you feel seen, made you feel less alone, made you believe you can rise again, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because stories like this remind us we are not defined by what was taken from us. We are defined by what we choose to build next. 2 years have passed since that candlelit dinner where truth became louder than any lie. Most days now feel light, normal, even joyful. But every once in a while, usually late at night when the house is quiet and the kids are asleep, I still find old letters I wrote in the first months after everything broke. I never sent them. I couldn't. They were too raw, too angry, too full of questions that had no good answers. But keeping them helped. Writing them helped more than therapy ever could in those early dark weeks. I want to share 3 of them with you tonight. Not the full, angry versions, but the cleaned up pieces that still carry the truth of how far I've come. Letter 1 to Mark, written 3 weeks after the dinner. Mark, I used to think love was enough to fix anything. I thought if I gave more time, more patience, more of myself, eventually you'd see how lucky we were. I was wrong. Love isn't a bandage for someone who keeps choosing to cut. You didn't just cheat. You chose her over and over while I was still cooking your favorite meals and folding your shirts. That's what hurts the most. Not the act, but the daily decision to lie to my face. I'm not writing to beg you back. I'm writing to let the last part of me that loved you go. I forgive you, not for you, but so I don't carry this poison anymore. Goodbye, Sarah. Letter 2 to Lisa, written 4 months later. Lisa, we were kids together. We shared secrets under blankets with flashlights. We promised we'd be each other's maid of honor and godmothers and old ladies on rocking chairs laughing about boys. You broke every single one of those promises the moment you kissed my husband. I keep replaying the nights you cried on my couch about your own divorce, how I held you, fed you, told you you deserved real love, and all along you were taking mine. I don't hate you. Hate takes too much energy. But I don't miss you either. The space you left is now filled with people who show up honestly. I hope one day you learn what real friendship feels like. Until then, stay gone. Sarah. Letter 3, to the old Sarah, written on my 42nd birthday. Dear Sarah who cried on the kitchen floor, I know you think this pain will last forever. You think you're too old, too tired, too used up to start again. You're wrong. Every tear you cried watered something new. Every night you couldn't sleep built a resilience you didn't know you had. Look at us now. We have a job we love, friends who stay, kids who run to us with open arms, a man who kisses our forehead and means it. You didn't just survive. You became the version of yourself we always deserved to meet. Thank you for not giving up. I'm proud of you. Love, the Sarah you became. I folded those letters and put them in a small wooden box in my closet, not hidden in shame, kept as proof. Proof that heartbreak doesn't get the last word. Proof that healing isn't linear, but it is real. Proof that the woman who once gave everything away learns how to give to herself first. If you're in the middle of your own storm right now, if the nights feel endless and the questions won't stop, write your letters. Even if you burn them, even if you bury them, even if you keep them forever. Let the words carry what your voice can't say yet. One day you'll read them back and realize how far you've walked. You're not stuck. You're moving, even when it doesn't feel like it. Thank you for staying through every single part, from the shock that stopped my heart to the quiet strength that brought it back stronger. If this series reminded you that you're allowed to rebuild, that betrayal isn't your ending, that your best chapter might still be waiting, subscribe if you want more real stories like this. Turn on the bell. Share it with someone who needs hope tonight. 3 years have now passed since the night the candles flickered and the truth finally spoke louder than love ever did. I no longer count the days since the betrayal. Instead, I count the mornings I wake up without that heavy stone in my chest. I count the smiles that come without effort. I count the nights I fall asleep grateful instead of exhausted from pretending. Today, I live in the same house, but it doesn't feel like the same place. The walls remember the old arguments, the forced laughter, the secrets whispered in corners. But they also remember the first time I danced alone in the living room with the kids after the divorce was final, laughing so hard we couldn't breathe. They remember the day I hung fairy lights across the porch, just because I wanted beauty for no reason at all. They remember quiet evenings, where the only sound is pages turning in a book I actually want to read. My daughter asked me last week, "Mom, do you ever miss the way things used to be?" I thought about it, honestly. I miss parts of the innocence, I told her, but I don't miss the version of me who had to shrink to keep everyone comfortable. That version is gone, and I'm glad. She hugged me then, long and tight, and whispered, "I like this version better too." Daniel and I are still together. We're not rushing anything, we're building slowly, the way good things are supposed to grow, root by root, day by honest day. He knows my scars, I know his, and somehow knowing exactly how much it can hurt makes the gentle parts feel like miracles. Work is thriving. I lead a small creative team now. We launch campaigns that actually make people feel something. Every time a client says, "This is exactly what we needed," I feel a quiet pride that no one can take away. It's mine, earned with my own hands and heart. I still think about Mark and Lisa sometimes, not with anger anymore, but with a kind of distant curiosity, like looking at an old photograph of someone you used to know. I hope they found peace, I really do. Not because they deserve it from me, but because carrying hate is too heavy a load for anyone to carry forever. And now, a message directly to you. If you're watching this series and your eyes are stinging because some part of my story lives inside your own chest right now, please listen closely. You are not too old. You are not too broken. You are not too late. The life you're mourning, the one that cracked wide open, was never meant to be your forever. It was only the classroom. The real lesson wasn't the pain. The real lesson is what you do with the space it left behind. You get to choose. You get to rebuild kinder, You get to love wiser. You get to stand taller in rooms that used to make you feel small. And one day, not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day, you'll look back and realize the thing that almost destroyed me is the exact thing that taught me how to live. I can't hold back my emotions as I say these last words to you. Thank you for joining me on this emotional journey. If you found some piece of yourself within this story, share it with someone you know who may need to hear it just as much. The world is full of hidden pain, and our stories can be the light that guides others through the darkness. Your next chapter? That one is only just starting. Take care of you. You're worth every beautiful thing still waiting.